Welcome to Outside the Box. I am your host, Margot, and this is episode 10, and you are tuned into the mysterious realms of hell. So, when we think of the topic of hell, we always think about, fire and brimstone and some sort of mythological creature that's wandering around guarding the depths of the abyss. And many questions arise when we think about these things. It's like, okay, does hell even exist? Or is this some kind of figment of our imagination, something that's been created way before our times? Or is it something meant to kind of scare us straight? Or is it a place that we go, like an alternate universe or an alternate dimension? Like, say we're in a coma. So obviously a part of our brain deactivates just to activate another. So during this time, are we able to visit one of these realms of hell? So the number one mysterious realm is Dante's Inferno, and the nine sins will definitely land you a spot in Dante's Inferno. So beginning with limbo. Limbo, I believe, is the first sin. So I feel like when we think about limbo, we're always thinking about our souls in limbo. Like after we pass on, it's like as our soul trying to figure out, okay, where do we belong? Do we belong in heaven, or do we belong in Hades or hell or the underworld? So when I think about limbo, when we're referring to Dante's Inferno, it's like, okay, so I think humanity in general is in limbo. I mean, we were born into sin, obviously. So things that we do, we just cannot help. It's just something that happens. So I figure we're in limbo as humans for the duration of our lifetime. Number 2 is gluttony. Gluttony is to overindulge in food or drink or wealth. So I feel like with Dante's Inferno, it's like we're almost set up, right? Gluttony is like, okay, so as humans, depending on mental illness or who we are to cope with certain things that go on in our life, like, okay, so we might overindulge in food, drink, or wealth because that's almost like a coping mechanism for us. Number 3 is, I believe number 3 is greed. And just as that, I think it's a severity of one's greed that, affects our actions as far as greed goes. How far will we go? How greedy are we? I feel like, again, it's a severity. I think it's levels to this whole thing. These 9 sins, I feel like there's levels to that. Lust. I feel like we're all lustful. We see something that we like. And again, with lust, it's a severity. It's a level. Are you level 1 lustful? 2, 3, 4, however you want to try and, I don't want to say grade this, but try to, make sense of it all. So let's go on to number, I think it might be 5, but wrath, extreme anger. So we get mad about something. So again, if we think before we act, or we think before we get too angry and we try to figure things out that might work. But again, wrath is one of those 9 sins. Heresy. Anything other than the Orthodox religion is considered heresy. So if you feel like you want to be a Hindu or a Buddhist or even hoodoo or voodoo, depending on the culture, that would be a sin according to Dante's Inferno in the Christian hell. So heresy is another one. Then we also have fraud, and then treachery being the last one. So Dante's Inferno obviously has been associated with the Christian faith for as long as we can remember. And it's crazy that it's all based on a 1321 poem called Inferno, which was oddly written by an Italian Catholic. So that goes back to the Christian thing. So is Christianity based off a certain God? Or to me, I think if you believe in something, any God, I feel like Christian has like these branches, like these subsidy branches. But again, that's my own opinion. Also, my theory is that the 9 levels of hell is more of a mental state of mind, and I feel like you make your own mental hell, your it's like a mental hell. It's a personal karma when it comes to Dante's Inferno. So here's where it gets a little bit more interesting and a little bit more weird and a little bit more folklorish, however you want to look at it, is when we get to the ancient Greeks underground, which is called Kur, which is also called the land of the dead, which is the Mesopotamian underworld, not to be confused with ancient Greek mythology, because obviously this is something with the ancient Greeks, but it's a Sumerian underworld. So there's a primary part to Kur, which is Tartarus, and Tartarus is the king of Tartarus, which is very, very weird, but you know, it makes sense for a perfect realm and a perfect premortal monster. So we have Dante's Inferno, which is in relation to the Christian faith, and then we have Kur and Tartarus, which is, of course, Kur is almost like the state of Hades or the underworld, and then you have your little city of of Tartarus. So we have Kur and Dante's Inferno. Moving right along. So now in this particular place, it takes 42 judges and the heart that is weighed against the feather of truth. Now, is this a fairy tale or one of the stories of hell? Well, of course, hence the name, the Mysterious Rooms of Hell. It's a little bit of both. So now I'd like to welcome you to Duat, which is the ancient Egyptian underworld. So this is where the heart is. If the heart is lighter than the feather of truth, of course, you pass on to a permanent afterlife. So when we think of, okay, so you pass. So you think of honey, milk and honey, maybe the land of milk and honey, golden gates and gold and white, and just like this place that's of perfection. That's if your heart is lighter than the feather. Now, if for some reason your heart is heavier than the feather, unfortunately, you're passed on to Ammit. You have turned into one of the toys of Ammit. Okay, so you're going to be tortured and then thrown into a lake of fire. Now, Ammit is a combination, he's a hybrid human. So he's a combination of hippo, lion, and crocodile. So you have this creature that's going to torture you and throw you into the lake of fire. So, of course, we have Dante's Inferno, we have Kur, and we also have Duat, which is the ancient Egyptian. So we have Christianity, we have Greek, and then we have the ancient Egyptian culture, which is their underworld, which is Duat. Okay, so next we're moving right along to the next place. This place has a foul-smelling gas that fills the atmosphere. And death by suffocation is definitely a possibility due to the high volume of carbon monoxide, known as the breath of death. Now, Pluto's gate is also known as Plutonian and believed to be ruled by Pluto, the god of the dead. Identified in 2013 as an ancient portal of the underworld, the cave or temple was lethal to animals, but if you are an ancient priest, you are apparently immune to these fumes. And so they allowed the priests who understood the phenomenon to go ahead and perform animal sacrifices. This in turn made them able to commune with the gods. Now, unfortunately, the landmark that you would be able to find Pluto's gate has been destroyed. I don't know why. It might be some sort of, I don't know, conspiracy maybe, or a conspiracy fact. That the location of Pluto's gate is now lost in history for some reason. I don't know why, but it is. So now we have no idea where Pluto's gate is, but I think that might be a good thing due to the carbon monoxide poisoning, but you know. So we begin with Dante's Inferno, the Christian hell. Then we moved on to the ancient Greeks, which is Kur, and the ancient Egyptians, which is Duat. Okay, so now moving right along. Located on Ming Mountain in central China is a complex of shrines and temples taken by the beauty from afar. So it's surrounded by water. So say you're on a boat, like from afar, it's like beautiful. You see like all this greenery and these temples, but you can't really make out what they are. But upon entering the massive collection of mythological and religious elements, Fangdugo City is dedicated to Yang Lu Wang, also known as King Yama, and he is the deity that judges the souls of the deceased. And he presides over the 18 levels of hell and the 10 kings of the 18 levels of hell. So if your good deeds are outweighed by your misdeeds, then of course you move on to a different celestial realm, which is, of course, we're going to say the land of milk and honey. But if it's the other way around, the fallen souls has to experience the 18 levels of hell. Now, the 18 levels of hell is located in a place called Daiyu. Okay, Daiyu is the Chinese underworld or the Chinese hell. So in Daiyu, it's almost like, okay, we're not just going to get rid of you. They believe in reincarnation. So it's like, okay, so, oh, you did this when you were here on earth. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to have to experience this, whichever level, which we will go over in a few minutes. Whatever you did to land here, we're going to try to cleanse you of this. And then give you a chance to go ahead and try to, relive life in a better way, right? So Daiyu is split into two sides. You have East Hell and you have West Hell. So we're going to begin with West Hell. So these are the 18 levels or the 18 chambers of Daiyu, which is the Chinese underworld. Okay, so the first level being the chamber of tongue ripping. So whoever stirs up gossip will find their tongues being ripped out in the chamber of tongue ripping. The second layer is the chamber of scissors. Those who break up marriages will have their fingers cut off. So if you're an adulterer, you will have your fingers cut off in the chamber of scissors. Then there's the chamber of iron cycads. Those who cause disagreements among family members of other people will find themselves hung from a tree. Then we have the fourth layer, which is the chamber of mirrors of retribution. For those who escape the punishment of their crimes during their lifetime on earth will be shown their true shape and color. So this is who you were during this time. You thought you got away, didn't you? You're looking in the mirror to see exactly who you are. So that is the fourth layer of Daiyu. The fifth layer of Daiyu is the chamber of steamer. Hypocrites and troublemakers find themselves being punished in a steamer. So if you're a hypocrite and you like to stare at mess all the time, you will be in the fifth layer, the chamber of steamer. The sixth layer is the forest of copper column. Arsonists for retaliation will find themselves being bound to columns of copper. So you can only imagine how that would be. So if you're that upset, the wrath, if you have the wrath in you and you felt like you wanted to set something on fire, due to retaliation in Chinese Daiyu, in the Chinese underworld, you will find yourself in the sixth layer. The seventh layer is the mountain of knives. Those who kill sentient beings with a knife without reason or for pleasure, kind of like Jason or Michael Myers, must be a psychopath. But anyway, killing animals or anything like that for pleasure, you will find that yourself climbing a hill of knives. Sinners are made to shed blood by climbing this mountain with sharp knives poking out of it. That is the seventh layer of Daiyu. So the hill of ice is the eighth layer. Schemers, deceivers of the elders, and adulterers will find themselves left naked and freezing cold on the hill of ice. So the ninth layer of Daiyu is the cauldron of boiling oil. Any rapists, thieves, abusers, false accusers will be boiled in fried oil. Now we're going to go ahead and move to the other side, which is the West Hell, which is the beginning of the 10th layer, which is the chamber of ox. Abusers of animals will find themselves being bullied by animals. So if you can only imagine, like you're thrown into like this pit and all these animals are like fighting you. It's crazy. So that is the 10th layer. The 11th layer is the chamber of rock. Those who abandon or kill babies will be made to hold the heavy rock and will be surrounded by putrid water, which is like decayed and foul, like sewer water or something. So you're going to be there holding this rock over your head, surrounded by like feces and bodily fluids. Okay, so level 12 is the chamber of martyrs and pestles. So those who voluntarily waste food will be forced to be fed by demons with hellfire. And in this particular area, so we're like in ancient China, right? So it just lets you know, is this like extraterrestrial? Are they trying to send us some sort of like sign because Martyrs and Pestle is like a machine. So you're going to get fed by this machine that has like some kind of rotating pulley or something. So you're going to be overindulged with food. So the 13th layer is the pool of blood. Those who don't respect others find themselves soaked in blood. So if you don't respect others or your elders or whoever, or respect humanity in general and just have respect for yourself and others, you will be covered in blood soon, according to King Yama and the underworld. Okay, so the 14th layer is the town of suicide. People who commit suicide will be forced to wander the city of suicide. So this town, all the elements, I call it a cosmic curse. All of the elements will hurt you. I think it's like the wind of sorrow. So every time the wind it's a cool breeze, it's sorrow blowing in this breeze. So your feelings is going to be altered. Also, it's the rain of pain that lashes out day and night. So it's obviously windy. It's bad inclement weather there. So it's windy and it's rainy. So you have sorrowful winds and you have painful rain. The 15th layer is the chamber of dismemberment. Tomb raiders who I think they're called, not grave diggers, there's another word for it, but who go there and try to find like gold or just, first of all, you're disturbing the dead, which is like almost an automatic sin, but we'll find their bodies being torn to pieces. This is the 15th layer, the chamber of dismemberment. So if you feel like you want to rob graves, then you will find yourself in the 15th layer, the chamber of dismemberment. The 16th layer is the mountain of flames. Thieves, robbers, and the corrupt will be thrown into the flames of a hellish volcano. This is the 16th layer. The 17th layer is the yard of stone mill. Those who subdue the weak, abuse their power, and oppress people will find themselves being crushed and pulverized in a stone mill. So let's try to be mindful of others, okay? Let's not abuse our power, because then we end up in the chamber of sawmill, which is the 17th layer of Daiyu. This is the chamber of Saw, which is the last and final layer of Daiyu. Those who exploit the loopholes in the law and engage in unfair practices in business will be sawn in half by demons. Okay, so that's the 18th layer. So we've covered the mysterious realms of hell, and you're tuned into Outside the Box. This is the 10th episode. Please like and subscribe every last one of my videos. I would appreciate it so much. I'd like to thank you for watching, and my name is Margot, and I want you to stay safe and informed. And again, thanks for watching.